So again, I just wanted to come back to that first night that I realized you were an artist, and then realized who you were in our lives. You began to take me by the hand, and you had quite a few of these sculptures. And I was wondering if you could just tell me and the viewers a little bit about this particular series of work.
Yeah, so this series I've been working on for a while. I want to say like a year and a half, something like that. And they're generally they're girls, they're women, they're figurative works. They're very, in terms of process, they're built plaster over foam armature with sometimes some wood planks or dowels and sometimes not. Spray painted for a color coat, and then so many like coats of resin over, which is these like super drip castle-y things we have going on. In terms of kind of reason and content, I like to keep it simple, right? I'm not a conceptual artist. I'm not someone who likes to do installation work or sort of high concept stuff, but I'm very passionate about figurative art. I'm very passionate about depictions of women and female representation within art, and I think that, you know, throughout art history, if you kind of look at like the large scope of it, women are sculpted by men as either sort of you know, muses or sirens, like Madonna the whore, right? Like it's not there's not a wide range there. It's sort of like in the depictions of the female form, which there is plenty of, right? Like there is no shortage of the female nude within art history, but I believe there is a serious shortage until recent times, right? Until like the 1950s or so, of multi-dimensional females, right? Something that feels honest to me, and that's mainly because women weren't making art, right? So men's view of women does tend to be, I'm not gonna say not all men, right? But like a lot of men's depictions and views of women tend to be one-sided, which is sort of kind of a Madonna, a very matronly figure, a muse, a very demure figure, a very beautiful figure, or sort of like a Medusa, very monstrous figure. And I think that, you know, that's not my experience, right? There's so much going on in every single one of us, and when you see women starting to make art and starting to depict themselves, you see a lot of that. You see a lot of the nuance. You see a lot of the reality. You see a very honest depictions in sometimes both like content, like in what the female figures are doing within their art. But you know, in mine, they're sculpture. It's not painting. They're just sort of they're existing. So I believe it's sort of in the expressions you give them, in the treatment of the material that sort of evokes this rawness, this multidimensionality, this realness, like something that feels very honest to my experience. And that's why I make the work that I make. I want the work to feel both incredibly like fierce and kind of have a bit of a get the fuck back vibe, as well as being vulnerable, right? Like having very hard edges, being very messy, being very raw, and having that also still be you know, beautiful to my eye, right? Like we're not all polished, but that doesn't mean polished doesn't equal beautiful, demure doesn't equal beautiful, safe, True. Soft doesn't equal beautiful. That to me, messy, raw, fucked up, crazy, right? Like a woman in the midst of her journey is beautiful, right?
Absolutely. It's the best part of getting to the end is the actual journey,
right?
Getting there.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I just wanted to tell you was when you were showing me your work that was for sale that evening, I remember coming up to one piece. It was a silver piece, silver bray.
Yeah.
And
so the one you got?
Right.
Yeah.
It was the one that I fell in love with and I ended up buying. Can you tell me or And I'm sorry, can you tell us a little bit about the piece that I bought that I have a reference of back home? I can always shoot a video of.
The worldwide internet. Yeah, that piece was part of a little baby series where on a technical level, I was experimenting with trying to take this aesthetic, like this technique, sort of the resin on plaster, onto wall work. So, you know, it's a painting, as you will, right? It like looks like this, but it goes on a wall. So we can call it a painting or a wall piece, whatever you want to call it.
A wall mounting.
A wall mounting, yeah. So those were pieces where their inception was sort of a technical experimental thing, right? Like, can I get this vibe on the wall? Well, I didn't see why not, and it was very possible. I was kind of worried about maybe it being too heavy, but, you know, I kept the plaster layers kind of light. So that's how I made that work. In terms of subject matter, it's pretty similar. It's a little more abstract, the piece you have, than the all out busts or full size figures. It's a woman. You can see kind of her face kind of in an arm and a breast lounging in like all this mess. And I forget, what did I title that piece? I know what it is to me. It's like a woman in the grass. Okay.
Okay. So Eleanor,
Yeah.
I've been noticing on your Instagram a whole new series of paintings of women, nudes.
Yes.
Nude
women, go figure, right?
I see quite a bit of labia happening.
Quite a bit of labia.
And I must say, it's very, very provocative. I'm shocked that Instagram hasn't pulled it off yet. So I'm hoping that YouTube will do the same and just keep it up there. Listen, I'm really fascinated about this work. I was wondering if you can tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always loved drawing and sketching. I think most artists do, right? No matter what medium you're working in, there's something super immediate and satisfying about working with paper. It's just like boom, boom, boom. You don't have to mix the fucking color. You don't have to mix plaster. You're just bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Your art is made.
Crayon?
Oil pastel.
Oil pastel.
Oil pastel, sometimes a little chalk pastel, sometimes a little charcoal, sometimes a little colored pencil. But the vast majority of it, oil pastel. Which I like because it's kind of like, it's got some thick and chunkness. It's got some tooth to it. Like, if you look at the rest of my work, you can see I'm a little texture slut. Like, I want my viewer to want to touch the art so badly it kills them, right? And then you buy it because that's the only time you can touch it. And oil pastel sort of gives you a similar effect. So I started making this work, or like the sketches for this work, and then making this work. Sketches for like back here, they're little, but they're the same things. 2 months ago, something like that, because that was the time I found out I'm pregnant.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, which was super surprising. You know, I was working back in my studio, and sculpting was just a lot. I actually just finished 4 new figures about this size. I can show you shots of them, and I was really into them. I still am. They're like right over there in my studio, but I had finished the plaster, and my next steps are to spray paint and then resin them. And those are 2 big old fucking no's, right? If you're pregnant. Very, very toxic stuff. Fumes, just no. So I was like, all right, I don't know how to finish these pieces. Those are 2 big old fucking no's, right? If you're pregnant. Very, very toxic stuff. Fumes, just no. So I was like, all right, I don't know how to finish these pieces. I mean, I can't finish them the way that I like to. I don't know the alternative. Other alternatives that I would come up in my head are also really highly toxic. And then I kind of started making a few more things in plaster, and all the symptoms just hit me like a ton of bricks. It is, if anyone, being pregnant sucks. Like, it sucks really hard. Some people like it, but like the first 2-3 months are absolutely fucking horrid. You feel like you're dead hungover every day, except almost worse, which is the feeling I haven't had in a very long time, so it was not welcome. And
brought back some painful memories.
I mean, it's hard. you have no energy. You feel sick all the time. It's just crazy. You feel so tired. You feel like you're jet lagged, like 12-hour jet lag every day. It sucks. So
what was the...
all this is to say, I didn't want to fucking sculpt anymore. Like, it was too... Not lifetime. Like, it's not... I'm so pumped to get back to it in 6 months? 7 months? 6 months. But I just needed to take it easy. But I still got to make art, right? Like, I'm an artist. That's what I do. My creativity actually started going really wild. Like, I don't know what it is. Something about the hormones, something about life changes, something about being all haywire in the brain, like, made me really creative. But physically, I just wasn't up for sculpting. Sculpting takes a lot of physical energy. It also takes a lot of, like, time per day. You can't just... There's a weird sound going on. It sounds like a fart, but it ain't me. FYI. Sculpting, you can't just, like, start, stop like that. Like you can a digital medium or drawing. Or kind of painting, but not even really. Like, you can't just jump in it, jump out of it. So my days shortened, my energy levels shortened. I didn't want to be in a respirator. Like, I couldn't work with toxic shit. So, naturally I was like, I'll just start drawing and kind of see what comes out of it. And I've always drawn, but I make, like, large-scale drawings that were sort of the finished product, and haven't since I was, maybe a freshman in art school. So that's how I went here. And in terms of what I was making, I mean, I see it as a continuation of the same themes and concepts as I explore my sculptural work, which are just, demi-autobiographic, honest depictions of women that are gorgeous and raw and fucked up and messy. And
what is it that exactly you're trying to express when you keep on saying, like, this is our natural state, this is which is something totally relatable, because with this whole social media that's going on, it's like, especially on Instagram, where everybody looks so curated and the hair is perfect and the life is perfect. But in essence, right? We know that, and it's such a high standard for us to all try to live up to. When in essence, these people, like, their shit stinks too. They wake up in the morning, they don't exactly look like as beautiful as they're going to look. Right.
No,
so
they don't.
Are you trying? What is the? I guess what I'm trying to say is, what is the statement you're trying to make on your art, on the female form, the anatomy, the woman behind the reveal?